marriage.
All right, babe. For this week's marriage moment here, quick little discussion. We were talking like, what are we going to talk about on the show here? And I wanted to talk about just like when is it a good time to counsel others, or should your marriage be perfect before you start helping other people?
Well, I hope not, because if it has to be perfect, then nobody can help.
Not perfect, but you know what I mean by that.
Right.
Oh, you guys have a perfect marriage. Let's go to them. Is there a certain age range? Is there a certain, should we be afraid of helping other people's marriage at a certain age? Or is it just something as you get older that when I'm in my 40s and 50s, now I can start, or what?
Well, I do think the Bible does talk about older women teaching younger women how to love their husbands. So,
Sure.
I do think age sometimes can play a part.
Oh, it most definitely does.
Because I feel like with
Wisdom.
age comes wisdom,
Yes.
and you have lots of experience. So that does help. But I wouldn't think that you have to. Obviously, you don't have to have a perfect marriage.
Well, here's what you don't have to have. You don't have to have a special degree, and you don't have to go to college for it.
Absolutely not.
And the one qualification I would say, though, is, to be fair, is you should have a good marriage. Like, I don't know if you're struggling, it doesn't mean you can't help other people out. You know, anytime anybody needs help, you can try to do whatever you can. But when I'm looking for help, I want to see those people that are doing well. And be like, hey, what am I doing wrong? Or is there something I'm missing? Can you point out something in my life, and reach out to those people.
Right.
And so obviously early on in your marriage, it might be good, but it's lacking experience. So a lot of people, say if you're 50 years old, you're not going to go to a 25-year-old and be like, hey, help me with my marriage.
I hope not.
That's only been married for 14, 15 months. And you're like, well, you wouldn't understand some of the difficulties I'm going through. But if you're 25 and have been married a few years, why not talk, if someone that is your age that is already struggling, you would understand where they're going through and where they're at a lot more than, say, people like us that's been married 20, 24, 25 years. What are we on? 20?
Almost 25.
Almost 25. So we might have forgotten what it was like for those first few years, but they're in it right now and they're doing well. So why not help it? I don't think there's a special certificate you need or anything like that, or you need to have a perfect marriage to help others.
Right. Well, there is something about the blind leading the blind. So I do think that it does help if you can see, if you want to help
Yes.
other people.
Yes.
So if we're struggling and fighting all the time, and then I try to pretend like everything's fine and help somebody else, maybe I'm not quite in the place I need to be to try to help.
And as an older person, just if you want to be a church leader and you're getting older in age, most of us should be in that age where we should be leaders in our church. You don't have to, quote unquote, be the pastor or anything, but you're a leader in the church. And as a leader, you should have an example. So you should have an example in your marriage. You should have an example in your child training, your kids, how you live your life, your reputation on the outside, within and without. You should have a good reputation. And all those things are very important for you to be, quote unquote, qualified. There is no You know what your biggest qualification is? If people come to you, honestly.
Yeah.
And if you can get help, or if you can help others. The important thing is that we're not just here. So the reason I wanted to talk about this was, like, sometimes we get so focused on our marriages, and that's what these, little 5-minute moments are for marriage. It's just like, focus on our marriage. But there's other people around. And if you are doing well, look around and help others. And it is a fine line to get in there and, get in people's business, or to help out. So there is that fine line. You don't want to be a nagging neighbor, but if you know people that are hurting and struggling, and usually they'll let you know, that you can tell. But yeah, you should. Marriage is a wonderful thing. It brings out a lot in us. And so if in that moment we are doing well, that's good. And you should thank God and and look around and help. This world is about helping.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
And if people come to you, it's not always best to just defer and say, oh, well, go read this book, go to somebody else.
Right.
It's like, well, look, I can have an answer. I can say, well, okay, let me think about that. I think I can share some things that we've done that have helped us in our marriage.
Let me carry some of your burden.
Right.
And then hopefully, if hopefully you don't have these struggles, but if you do, someone else can help you. And that's the way it works. At least it should work. And
Exactly.
so anyway, that's kind of the encouragement that I would have is like, some people are thinking maybe they're just too young to help. Well, look, people are always looking at young people and like, oh,
Yeah.
are these guys going to make it? Are they going to do well? And well, let's hope so. And we should encourage them into doing that. And people our age and people that have been married 30 plus years, looking at those younger couples should encourage them. And it doesn't have to be like a sit down counsel thing, but just throw out little nuggets like we do on the show. I mean, we're talking 5-6 minutes, just a little thing that maybe would help out here and there. So hopefully that encourages someone.